Great Bay. What a spectacular sight in the realm of Termina. I sat upon Epona, taking in my surroundings. It was yet another segment of the country I needed to explore. It was remarkably more pleasing than Woodfall and Snowhead. The water was happy, blue, vast and mysterious, stretching onward into the unknown regions of the world. Rising from the water near the beach was a dome, sizable enough for one reclusive soul, adorned with a giant hook. Far in the distance, in the corner of my line of sight, was an angry cyclone, rotating around a monolith that resembled a massive sea creature. The beach extended leftward through a round opening in a huge mass of rock, and behind me were two houses. "Where first?" I asked Tattle. "How should I know?" she answered. I scoffed, turning towards the cyclone. "You know you want to go there," she said, nudging me in the head. "I'll see if anyone's in the dome," I pitched. "Why not try those houses first since they're closer?" asked Tattle. "Look at that thing. It's isolated there in the center of the water. Isolated places catch my interest. Remember the cabin in the woods? I got a gilded sword," I asserted. I dismounted Epona. "The third guardian is somewhere in this terrain," I said. "I never thought I'd be helping you save Termina when I ran into your face right after you became a Deku," Tattle confessed. "Well, technically, I'm doing all the work," I said, raising an eyebrow. "You wouldn't survive one day without me," she barked. I smirked. Tattle's presence did help, more than she realized. She reminded me of another time. I was once that solitary Kakiri without a fairy, shivering in his bed with no friends and no purpose. Everything was dark, and I was lost in despair. And then... I sighed, gazing into the orange light of the first day, trying not to get emotional again. I mentally prepared myself to dive so I could get to the dome, but a few seagulls flying over the water caught my vision. "Azora," Tattle informed. There was indeed something underneath the birds. "It's either dead, asleep, or admiring the fish," I added. My instinct was to swim over and investigate. It might need my help. I never got into the previous temples without consulting the locals anyway. I submerged myself in the clear water, approaching the motionless creature. "Hey, you alright?" I asked, treading water. All I heard was the seagulls. I was about to give it a push to see if it moved or not, and before my hand made contact, the Zora lifted its head and spoke, startling me. "Take me to shore." It lowered its head in the water, falling silent. "Man, this guy's having a bad day," I said. This was my time to act. I went in front of him, took him by the arms, and began swimming backwards. It wasn't like I was wasting my time. I had the Song of Time after all. The Zora began to walk on his own. I gave him a bit of room, respecting his attempt to be mobile. He walked like he just survived the war. He had a fishbone guitar strapped to his back. That's a first, I thought. "Anything else I can do?" I asked. I received no answer. He just dragged himself across the sand. "I'm looking for the Great Bay Temple. Can you help me out?" I asked. The Zora stopped walking. I expected a response, but the Zora merely fell to his knees. I ran over to the fish humanoid, and he fell on his face. I flipped him on his back. He coughed gruesomely as his eyes were closed. "It's alright, man, just breathe," I told him. His breathing was staggered. I didn't think I was going to get much else from this guy, but he found the strength to speak. "Will you..." I leaned in closer. "Will you hear my last song?" For a moment I said nothing. I'd never been asked that question in my life. This creature was not intent on saving himself from whatever he endured, nor directing me to the temple. I could find no more questions to ask. I raised myself to my feet and took his right hand in my own. I would be honored. I helped him to his feet and gave him space. He took his guitar in his hands and made a solid stance. "Where is your voice? Where is your song? You will see your eggs again. Now please do not cry. They take what is not theirs, but justice will be served. Your line will not end with you. A righteous heart will rise. Let us hear your song, thus the temple shall be purged. Let us hear your song, thus the one in the mask shall fall." He fell to his knees with his guitar in his hands. "Heal my soul." Tattle and I looked at each other. There were only so many options now. I pulled out the ocarina and pressed it to my lips. The melody permeated the ocean air, and when the note subsided, the Zora faded into several dots of light, fluttering about and vanishing into the morning of the first day. His guitar was left behind, and a mask of his face appeared in the sand, peering into the sky. I took his guitar and propped it in the sand. Putting on these masks never felt too good. The swamp and the mountains were all the easier due to the remnants of these spirits. I went over to the mask. I took it into my hands, turned it around, and placed it upon my face. My heartbeat escalated. Everything became dark, and I struggled to remain on my 2 legs. I vocalized a dark, tormented voice, and my body felt a surge of terrifying power as I lamented my cry and witnessed purple lightning flash all around. Then, I felt air in my lungs. Everything got lighter. My heartbeat stabilized, and I looked upon myself. I was taller. I was blue. I was Mikau. "Yeah," I said. My voice was that of a young lad descending a rocky mountain in a chariot. I had green fins on my arms. Like the Goron mask and the Deku mask, I assumed this mask granted me unique abilities. I went with the first thing I could think of. I crossed my arms and I swung them wide, causing my fins to fly away. They turned around and flew back to me, and I caught them on my arms. "I have boomerangs," I remarked, smiling. I ran as fast as my Zora legs would allow me, thinking of Zelda and how grateful I was that she endowed me with the ocarina. The ocean rose over my head as I ran into it, and then I was soaring, turning, gliding, ascending to the surface and diving back in. I flew without wings. I was waterborne. An effortless, elegant flight through water was underway due to what Mikau left behind, and I was free. During my journey around the bay, I came to a rock wall, and it was covered in wooden boards. Wood on rock would only exist for the purpose of keeping something out, I thought. I needed to explore Great Bay, and in my experience, the most hidden places were the places I needed to be. I charged to the board ahead of me at a climactic speed, smashing it with my arms, and to my astonishment, there was a dimly lit tunnel before my eyes. Curiosity overtook me, and I swam through the dark hole, going upward, until the water came to an end. In my view were the mountains of Snowhead, a bright blue sky, and a mighty fortress, fenced by mountainous rocks. I got on my feet and walked up the rocky slope. A deep lake sat halfway up the fortress, and wooden boats occupied by females with red hair moved in a circular course along the periphery of the water. They were masked from the nose down in purple to match their purple garbs. Tattle rose above my head and gazed about the scene. "Save a few eggs, save another guardian," said Tattle. "Sounds easy, right?" I asked. I looked up at the moon. I felt dread in me again. Even if these guys managed to stop it from falling, we're still going to be waiting. "Waiting for what?" asked Tattle. I removed the Zora mask, returning to my normal state, and placed the stone mask upon my face. Waiting for time to run out.